Hello and welcome back to the Confident Content Coach podcast. I am excited today. This is the first episode that I'm actually recording for YouTube and for the podcast, so this is going to be fun. And I know I need to work on my backdrop, but we are in my room. This is where it's going to work as we have kids home from summer break and people running in and out of my house. So this is where we are doing it. If you hear dogs bark, if you hear kids yell, it's part of the process of running a business while your kids are home on summer break. Okay, so I'm excited today because I'm going to be speaking on the steps that you need to take in order to hit sustainable 3K months. And I honestly feel like there is a huge gap in the coaching industry, especially the business coaching industry. Obviously, that's what I'm talking about, where we see a lot of let's hit $10,000 months, let's hit $20,000 months, $30,000 months, and beyond. And oftentimes we don't hear about what I like to call the gray area income. $3,000 a month could be completely life-changing to so many people, but it gets looked past because a lot of people are really focused on these shiny numbers. And there are a couple problems with this because first and foremost, in order for you to get to $10,000 months, you first have to lay a foundation of creating sustainable income months, whether it be $500, $1,000, $2,000. And the actions that you take in order to get from $0 to $3,000 months are a lot different than the actions that you're going to take to get from $3,000 months to $10,000 months. And I am somebody who has not only created sustainable 3K months myself, but I've also helped a lot of my clients do the same. I see this as something that people really need help with because $3,000 a month could be completely life-changing, especially for like a stay-at-home mom or a mom who wants to leave her job, stay home with her kids, and have time flexibility. But oftentimes when we see these huge numbers on social media, we feel like it's not enough for us to just want this number. And I am here to give you permission that whatever amount of money that you want to make with your business is 1,000% okay. You do not have to want what other people want. And in fact, that is probably a whole nother podcast for another episode because oftentimes when people feel frustrated with their business or the actions that they're taking to get to where they want to go, it's because they are putting so much pressure on income levels, or it's because they want something that other people want and it's not necessarily what they want. So let's dive into the 6 steps that you can take in order to create sustainable 3K months. And I want to say this, I fully believe that every single successful strategy is individualized. You cannot duplicate a successful strategy. A lot of people teach duplicatable successful strategies, and what happens is a lot of people will pay for these strategies and then they will feel frustrated. So even though I'm going to be giving you 6 steps, these are steps that you can individualize for yourself inside of the Road to 3K Mastermind. This is why it is a mastermind, is because it's a high touch mastermind and I help you personally create a successful strategy for you. Yes, there are things that I'm going to have you try. We're going to see if it works. And then we're going to get the feedback and then we're going to figure out what is going to work for you. No one person is the same. Therefore, no one strategy is going to work for every single person. There is no end all be all strategy. Okay, so let's dive into the 6 steps. Number 1 is awareness and acceptance. A lot of times we get really focused on either the past, maybe we had a really good launch, maybe we had a really good year in business and things are not the same. Or we get focused on the future and freaking out about where we aren't, right? We're either like depressed about the past or anxious about the future. And the one thing that we have to do in order to start laying the foundation to where we want to go to create sustainable $3,000 months is to really have awareness of where we're at right now. How much money are we bringing in a month? How much money do we have going out a month? Where are we at with our audience? Where are we at with our email list? With all of the things that we have going on, it's really important for us to gain some awareness of where we are. And on top of that, accept where we are. We have to let go of the guilt, the judgment, the shame, all of the things that come along with not feeling like we are further enough along. Because once we can accept where we are and we can say, okay, these are the steps that we need to take in order to move forward, and it's going to look different from everybody. Maybe you're somebody who is just starting out on your business, and so you haven't even started on social media yet. Or maybe you are somebody who has been on social media for a couple years or a couple months, and so there are some tweaks that we need to make in order for you to start creating that sustainable income that you're really craving in your life. So awareness and acceptance. How can you accept where you are? You can release the past, you can release the future and say, okay, these are the steps I need to take. This is where I'm at. I'm feeling good about this. You need to be grounded in where you are and really not worry about where everybody else is. Because again, everybody else has different things going in their life. They have different circumstances, and you are here because this is your life. This is your business. This is where you're going to go. Once you have the awareness and the acceptance of where you're at, the next thing is clarification and simplification. I don't even know if simplification is a word. I guess I should have looked it up before I used it, but these two things are super, super important. And I know that oftentimes it's going to feel like you are being put in a box if you are going to quote unquote get clear on what you do, who you help, and how you help them do it. However, I can promise you that this is probably the answer to your frustration. And I don't want this to be something where you're putting so much pressure on this, because a lot of times what happens is people think that they need to niche down, and then they put so much pressure on niching down or getting clear on what it is that they're doing that they don't do it because they feel like it's something that they have to commit to for a lifetime. And gaining clarification is not a life sentence. Niching down is not a life sentence. And this is coming from somebody who used to believe that it was a life sentence and that if I did this, that I wouldn't reach as many people as I wanted to. But after feeling frustrated with the actions that I was taking, and after I actually niched down and got really clear on what it is that I offer, I have been able to create over 18 months of reoccurring revenue, and I've been able to reach a wider audience. So I know from personal experience and also with my clients that when you get super clear on what it is that you do, who it is that you help, and you can articulate that in your content and you can share that, you're going to reach a wider audience. I actually have another podcast episode coming up on this, specifically this topic. So stay tuned for that. But don't be afraid of getting clear and then allowing yourself to grow and evolve as you go. You're only going to put yourself in a box if you believe that you're going to put yourself in a box. So the only person that can do that is you. So allow yourself to get super clear and do it without any extra strings attached, because it's not a life sentence and you get to decide what that means for you. And the simplification part is really just getting super simple with what it is that you have to offer. I highly suggest creating 1 or 2 signature offers that you can launch over and over again, instead of trying to recreate the wheel every single month where you're like, okay, I need a new masterclass, I need a new program, I need to do this. And then all of a sudden you're just packaging up the same shit into different packages over and over, and you feel frustrated because you have to build the awareness. This is the next step, but you have to build the awareness around the program again, and it oftentimes feels like you're starting over. Momentum is a really, really great place to be, and the way that you create the momentum is you take action over and over, and simplifying what it is that you have to offer, what it is that you do is really going to allow you to do this. So I always say that the work that you do now always pays off later. And what if you didn't have to keep putting in the same work over and over and over again just because you're trying to start something new? So when you have those signature offers, it allows you to continue to build the awareness around the signature offer without having to do as much of a push or a hustle or a sacrifice all of the time. It really allows you to build a solid foundation out of cement or whatever, rather than building a foundation on sand that crumbles every single month and you have to rebuild it. That is really exhausting, and that leads straight to burnout. So the third step that you have is creating brand and authority awareness. And this goes right along with having a signature offer, either 1 or 2. I personally decided on having 3 signature offers. I have a social media program, I have a mastermind, and then I have my one-on-one offers available. And I allow myself to switch those up from season to season as far as like my one-on-one offers. My 2 main offers, they stay and have allowed me to really get clear on what they do, who they help, and who they are for. And they're still growing and evolving and changing as I go, but my audience is able to hear about them all the time, even when I'm not actively selling them. And they know that they can come to me for either content simplification or getting their business to sustainable $3,000 months, because that is what I have claimed that I do. And I share with people how I do that. And it makes it a lot easier to not have to like reinvent the wheel every single month. It also really allows content creation to be so much simpler because you know the things and the topics that you're talking about. And also not saying that you can't talk about other things, because you are completely able to talk about whatever it is that you want within your content. I always follow the 80-20 rule. I think I have a podcast episode on that. If I don't, then we need to do one. But the 80-20 rule is 80% of the time I am focused on my expertise, my authority, what I help people with. The other 20% is me building my personal brand. I work mostly with people who build personal brands. And I believe that having a personal brand from like high school is important. That's another podcast episode for another time, but I believe that building a personal brand is important because the possibilities are endless with a personal brand. So along with creating the brand awareness, you also want to create the authority awareness. Nobody can anoint you into being an expert or an authority besides yourself. You have to do it first. You have to be like, okay, telling your audience, this is who I am. This is what I've done. This is what I've accomplished. This is what I've helped people with. And this is why you should work with me. If you're not telling your audience these things, they don't know. Your audience doesn't know what they don't know. And so it's really, really important for you to build that awareness, even if you have to repeat yourself over and over and over again. In fact, this is one of the things that I have people do inside of the Confident Content Experience is reintroduce yourself. And that gets to look different ways at different times, right? Like once a year, I will go and I will do like a 3-part series, a 4-part series on introducing myself, of how I got into business and the things that I've been through. And then other times it'll be a simple story about maybe the certifications that I took, or even just as simple as a hook, as one of my hooks on TikTok is, I have created over 10,000 pieces of content, and this is something that I know for sure. So how can you build that authority awareness? What does your audience need to know about you in order for them to see you as an authority, as an expert, right? You have to anoint yourself in that first before they can do it for you, okay? So if you're waiting for somebody to anoint you, you're gonna be waiting forever. Like, it's your turn. Let's go share with your audience what it is they need to be shared with. Number 4 is your content is your free offer. This is the next step. So getting really clear on how you can help people and then helping them with your content. I know a lot of people and business coaches teach to do a free training and then launch your offer. And personally, I think that is something that needs to come at a later time. I don't think it's a bad thing to have a freebie. And in fact, that's something that we can work on inside of the Road to 3K Mastermind. However, what I find is that a lot of times people will spend a lot of time focusing on launching, they'll focus on promoting their free offer, and then they feel burnt out and exhausted and they never offer their paid offer. So instead of taking the information and putting it into a free offer, especially if you don't have an email list yet, I would use your content. In fact, you should be doing this all the time, no matter where you're at in business, but your content is your free offers. How can you give your audience more quick wins so that you can build that know, like, and trust factor rather quickly, and they will come back for more? Giving them something that they can apply to their life, to their business, to whatever it is that you're an expert or an authority in. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. How can I come back for more? People don't want their time wasted on social media anymore. And so having value in your content is important. And don't get caught up in this either, because the more you start to give value, the more you're going to give value, right? So like if you just need my number 1 tip, I made a TikTok on this today, for people who want to start posting on social media, is to just start posting. Posted is better than perfect. And the more you post, the more you post. So the more value you give, the more value you're going to give. But you have to start somewhere. So start using your free content as your free offer. And then once you start growing your audience, we can start growing your email list, and then we can maybe create a free offer before a launch. But this is my 5th step for you, is selling every single day. Yes, launches are great, but when you are able to have a signature offer or two that you can offer over and over again, it really makes it easy to grow that brand awareness and for your audience to know what's coming up. And I really think that you should be spending a year or 2 years or even 3 years really promoting and selling those same offers over and over again. As much as it feels boring, how can you make it feel more exciting? And the more that you're offering and you're promoting those things, it's going to allow you to get super clear, like I talked about before, on what it is that they do and who they help. And the really cool thing when you pick like 1 or 2 signature offers is you can alternate when you're talking about those. I sometimes will sell all 3 of my offers at once. Other times I have periods where I am promoting one more than the other. And so I'm talking about one of them more than the other. And then I will, maybe like right now I'm talking a lot about the mastermind because the mastermind closes on Wednesday. This is the last round that I'm going to be running of that. And then I'm probably going to be moving into the Confident Content Experience, which is my social media program. But this allows me to not get bored, but it also still allows me to build that brand awareness around the offers and people know what they can expect from me. So the other thing with selling every day is a lot of times it's more for you to get used to selling than it is for your audience. But honestly, it's probably a little bit of both. A lot of people are afraid to sell. So what I see happen is they will create these like launch plans, whether it be 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is. They will go balls to the wall for that amount of time, and then they will feel burnt out because they didn't get the results that they desired. And then they will freak out because they don't have another launch coming for a month or 2 or whatever it may be. Selling every single day allows you to release that pressure of having to have these launches perform the way that you want them to. Once you build up your audience, your email list, and you start getting more people into your signature offers, it's a lot easier to do launches that are 4, 6 weeks or whatever that may look like, that may look different. Now, again, I'm not saying that you can't have certain times where you're promoting or pushing an offer more than another. However, I just know that from the 0 to 3K range, a lot of times we're going to put too much pressure on the launch and then we're going to burn out. And so we don't want that to happen. My goal for you is to really allow you to regulate your nervous system while you're building up to $3,000 months. Because if you can regulate your nervous system and feel okay with doing, let's say, like back end work. I know a lot of people, so here's the ADHD coming in and I have a million tangents that I want to go on. But like, for instance, for myself, I'm a kind of person who will just do all front end things before I even do back end things. And I'll be like, okay, once I hit this income range, then I will go back and I will organize and do the things. And then you have the people who will do all of the back end things and not take any front end action. So there has to be a balance there first and foremost. But when you can regulate your nervous system, it allows the pressure to be released and it allows you to lay a solid foundation with the front end and the back end in order for you to get to the next steps, to get to be on $3,000 months. But first, you need to focus on getting from $0 to $3,000 first. And the 7th step is to celebrate every single step along the way. We must know that we are successful. Every single day that we make a post, you are successful. Every single day you get up and sell on your stories, you are successful. Every single day that you follow through with promoting an offer, you are successful. Every single day that you follow through with what you said you would do, you are successful. Your success is not dependent on $10,000 months. Your success is not dependent on hitting a 7-figure year. Your success is dependent on you deciding what your success looks like. And you must celebrate the fact that you are taking those steps every single day to get to where you want to go. And the last thing that you can do is you can rinse and repeat this cycle. Learn that there is no failure, there is only feedback. And when you can look back and say, okay, this worked and this didn't work, then you can say, okay, I'm going to try this. And like, it's the same thing with strategies. Strategies work until they don't. And then you look at the feedback and you try something new. And then you use that strategy until it doesn't work. And then you find a different strategy. Strategies are important. They're just as important as mindset work. I do a lot of identity level work with my clients. It's all important, but also we must remember that we won't have any feedback if we don't take any action. So in order for you to actually get feedback on what you need to change, you have to get out there and you have to take the action. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing inside of the Road to 3K Mastermind. I have decided for right now, this is the last round that I'm going to be running of the Road to 3K Mastermind. This is going to be evolving into a different kind of program. So this is the last time that you can gain access to the Confident Content Experience. The mastermind is 6 months long. It is high touch. So you have me in your back pocket helping you create, launch, and sell your signature offer and really create those sustainable $3,000 months. If this is something that you are interested in, please reach out to me and we will get you inside of the container. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you take this and you apply this to your business. Of course, if you liked this episode, please take a screenshot, share it on Instagram, tag me, and I will talk to you in the next episode. I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.